Oh, this is real rich. Oh, this is a real goodie.
President Trump on Monday announced, surprise, that the very next day he would be releasing all files related to the investigation of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
Who even cares at this point? Why is this such a big deal?
In 1963. All files on this subject with no redactions would be released the next day, on Tuesday. And so, because he said so, and what else is government other than just whatever Donald Trump says, because he said so, the National Archives on Tuesday, in fact, posted online over 60,000 pages of government documents on this subject.
60,000!
So he says it on Monday. They posted this stuff on Tuesday. The documents that genius Donald Trump insisted on Monday had to be released on Tuesday. Those documents were almost entirely documents that had been previously released to the public under President Joe Biden when he released a bunch of them, under other presidents who had released other stuff. Almost all of this stuff had previously been released anyway. But this was a little different, right? Because Donald Trump, genius, insisted that the documents he was ordering to be released, these documents would have to be unredacted. He made that explicit in his order. Totally unredacted, nothing crossed out. And so, on his orders, they released all of these documents that had been previously released, except this time they had nothing crossed out, nothing redacted.
Dingus.
And it turns out, you know what had been redacted the other times they had released these documents? You know what had been under those black boxes in previous releases of these same documents? You know what was under the Sharpie scratch-outs on all these pages? Turns out what had been redacted was the social security numbers and birth dates of tons and tons of random people who worked for the government around the time that the Kennedy
No, wait, because there's a kicker to this. There's a kicker.
Assassination was being investigated. Ta-da! So that is what he has ordered released. That's the big revelation from Donald Trump. Headline: White House seeks to contain damage from personal data in Kennedy files.
Holy
Headline:
shit,
Social Security numbers and other private information unmasked in JFK files. These geniuses, these big brains.
Idiot.
Among the people who Donald Trump has just doxed by publishing his full and unredacted Social Security number for no reason at all is his own lawyer, Joe DeGeneva, who worked for the Trump campaign and who represented Trump on some of the weirdest Russia and Ukraine stuff. In the Washington Post, quote, former Trump campaign lawyer Joseph DeGeneva, age 80, whose private information was included in the release, said, quote, it's absolutely outrageous. It's sloppy, unprofessional. DeGeneva continued, quote, it's like a first grade elementary level rule of security to redact things like that.
Perfect description, because that's what everything he does is a first grade elementary level rule. Every rule he breaks is elementary level. Everything he does is first grade level. I mean, this is hilarious. That's all he does. He's making messes, making huge messes.
First time in my life I've ever knowingly agreed with Joseph DeGeneva. But that's just the start. The Washington Post further discovered that Donald Trump, in his infinite wisdom, has just published the full, accurate, and complete, quote, Social Security numbers, birthplaces, and birth dates of not just random people, including his own lawyer, but, quote, more than 100 staff members of the Senate Church Committee and more than 100 Social Security numbers of staff members of the House Select Committee on Assassinations, which investigated the killing of John F. Kennedy.
Hilarious.
Now, awkwardly for Trump in terms of what he has wrought here, and awkwardly for the rest of us because of the grammar involved, the Post also has to sort of gingerly note that many of these staff members of the Assassinations Committee are themselves still alive. Right?
How are they not mad at him?
Just because they were on the Assassinations Committee doesn't mean they're not still alive and kicking. And now Donald Trump has ordered all of them to be very thoroughly doxed. which, among other things, appears to be quite illegal. Both the Washington Post and the New York Times
he
spoke
can't
with
fix any problem without doing. Well, he can't do anything at all without doing anything illegal. What a dumbass!
experts who told them that this very well looks illegal. What Trump just did here appears to pretty bluntly violate U.S. privacy law. At least one person who had his or her social security number published by Trump has started discussing bringing a lawsuit against the government for having done this. Probably pretty good grounds to do that. When he blurted out Monday, apparently with no planning else anywhere else in the government, when he just blurted out that the Kennedy assassination records will be released tomorrow. Because he said it, and that's how the government works now, they then released the documents the next day, Tuesday, and then, quote, on Wednesday, the day after that, that's when the White House ordered that the pages be combed for exposed Social Security numbers, which, of course, had all already been published by the hundreds. Now, after that ready, fire, aim routine, they're now trying to fix it. The White House has now, quote, directed the Social Security Administration to issue new Social Security numbers.
Oh, my goodness. Now they have to give. Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that. I don't know how I didn't think about that. That's fucking crazy. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
The affected people in an extraordinary response to mitigate the potential harm of the disclosures. They will also be offered free credit monitoring.
Gee.
So, yeah, good luck. Ambassadors and assistant secretaries of state and high-end Washington lawyers, including some who worked for Trump. Good luck in your 70s and 80s. Now working with the hugely diminished and unbelievably chaotic Social Security Administration to restart in your 70s and 80s everything in your official and financial life with your brand new Social Security number that Donald Trump is having to issue you today as an old person, as if you were a brand new baby. And he has to do that because Donald Trump just published your full name, your birthday, your place of birth, and your unredacted Social Security number on a government website because what? Who's going to tell him no?
Exactly.
Who's going to tell him that's not a good idea?
Are you ready for the kicker?
And that actually is the most amazing part of all of this, because it does not actually appear to have been a mistake. It's not like they didn't see it coming, and so they were surprised when it happened.
Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. This is just grinds my gears like crazy.
Look at this from the Times reporting tonight. Quote, administration officials knew before the documents went out that releasing them without redactions would expose some personal information.
Say what? They're son. They're like, okay, you want to do, I mean, this is going to happen. Okay, well.
They knew before the documents went out, but they did it anyway. Because he's the king!
Because they did it anyway. That's the f***ing kicker. Because they did it anyway.
And what, you're going to tell him the genius brain fart he had about Kennedy while he was walking around the Kennedy Center is somehow not the world's greatest and well thought out idea? Who around him is going to be like, sir,
Actually, what she just didn't said to the max, man. I mean, this is the guy you guys fucking voted for? Pathetic. This is, like, if you guys ever questioned, I don't know how, I mean, if you're brainwashed, if you're in his cult, you ever questioned if he is actually stupid or not? Is this not enough proof for you? The guy's a fucking jackass. He's an idiot. What a fucking I don't even think a kindergartner is dumb enough to do something stupid like that. That's fucking dumb as shit.
It's not how the government works in an autocratic system. Right?
Wow.
Asked about the debacle, the White House press secretary gave report. This statement.
My favorite punching bag. Oh my god. My latest favorite punching bag. She's my new punching bag. Oh god. Don't worry. She's meant to be a punching bag. That's what she wants to do. That she volunteered to be one. Hilarious. Yeah, let's put Caroline in this.
Delivered on his promise of maximum transparency. Yeah.
Let's hear that again.
Yes, he did. Quote, President Trump delivered on his promise of maximum transparency. Yeah. Yes, he did.
Hilarious.
And the maximum transparency here is like, if jeans came in
Nice save, Caroline. Nice save.
Clear, and nobody had underwear anymore. Yes, it's maximum transparency. I'm not sure that's good. He definitely delivered. Yeah, and who were you or anyone else to question the inherent genius of every impulsive blurt of the 70-whatever-year-old God King who rules without restraint?
Isn't he 80
and
now?
without any checks and balances, and without anyone anywhere near him who ever suggests the word no, let alone pronounces it.
God damn. God damn. And you know what's crazy? The craziest part to me, I don't think I'll ever get over it. I'll never get over it, is the fact that they knew it as they were doing it. But just like Rachel said, they just couldn't say no. It's that bad over there. You can't say, no, this is going to do this. And what's wrong with saying no? What's wrong with saying, hey, man, you can't, this is up. Or like, hey, are you sure this is going to cause a anything? Say anything. What's wrong with that? What, is he going to beat you guys? I don't see Donald as an abusive type. He seems like too weak and, you know, scared to be abusive towards anybody. So, I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, at least in his older years, I didn't bother to pay attention to his younger years. He wasn't repulsive enough as it was, but that is a trip, you guys. Like that, it's so painful that you can't help but to laugh. You can't do anything but laugh because it's like, I cannot believe that, like, is this some kind of like punishment or something? This has to be like the ultimate punishment, some kind of punishment. Like, spiritually speaking or metaphorically speaking or whatever, because this is up. This is like, and why do I have a feeling that this isn't even going to be the worst thing that he's going to do? Obviously, it's not going to be the worst thing. That's not, I mean, that's pretty mild, you know, for Donald's actions. I mean, if it was anybody else's, oh my God, this would be, like, honestly, this would be so extreme, like, unimaginably extreme. But since it's Donald, it's like, it's so shitty to realize, like, this isn't even the worst thing he could do. And I'm kind of looking forward to when he gets to that point. I'm kind of looking forward to when he does get to his worst moves, because it'll be bittersweet for sure. It's gonna suck balls, but it's gonna be well deserved. You know, if it affects his own voters, which it will, inevitably it will. So that's hilarious. What a joke. What a fucking joke. Have a great time fixing that mess. You know, Donald doesn't have to worry about it. It's not like he's got to fix anything. He doesn't even have to change his own goddamn diaper. Pathetic, man.
Do not come. 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 Do not come.